A man with standards doesn't explain himself. Not because he's arrogant, not because he's cold, not because he lacks empathy, but because his life is not an argument. Standards are not something you announce. They are something you live. And when a man truly has standards, his behavior speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Most people explain themselves because they're trying to be understood. But beneath that desire, they are usually trying to be accepted. Acceptance is powerful, but self-acceptance is transformative. A man with standards already accepted himself. That changes everything. He doesn't rush to justify his decisions. He doesn't over-explain his boundaries. He doesn't negotiate his values to make others comfortable. Not because he doesn't care, but because caring does not mean self-abandonment. Explaining yourself too much is often a sign of insecurity. It means you're asking for permission to live according to your own rules. A man with standards doesn't ask for permission. He sets direction. When he says no, he doesn't follow it with a paragraph. When he leaves, he doesn't write an essay to soften the impact. When he chooses distance, he doesn't defend it. He understands something most people don't. Those who respect you don't require explanations, and those who don't respect you will never be satisfied by them. Explanations don't create respect. Consistency does. Boundaries don't need justification, they need enforcement. A man with standards is comfortable being misunderstood. He knows that clarity doesn't come from words alone. It comes from patterns, from repetition, from alignment between values and actions. He would rather be questioned briefly than disrespected continuously. And let's be honest, a lot of people don't ask you to explain yourself because they're curious. They ask you to explain yourself because they want control. They want you to doubt your decision. They want you to soften your boundary. They want you to feel guilty for choosing yourself. A man with standards sees that game clearly. He doesn't argue with manipulation. He doesn't debate with people who already decided to misunderstand him. He simply refuses to participate. This becomes especially clear in relationships. A man with standards does not explain why he won't tolerate inconsistency. He simply steps back. He does not explain why honesty matters to him. He removes himself when it's absent. He does not explain why his time matters. He gives it where it's valued. People often confuse this with emotional unavailability. It's not. It's emotional maturity. Emotional unavailability avoids connection. Emotional maturity protects integrity. There's a difference between being open and being available for disrespect. A man with standards can be kind, he can be warm, he can be supportive, but he will not be endlessly accessible to chaos. And that's what most people don't understand. They think boundaries are hostility. No, boundaries are what allow love to stay clean. Boundaries are what keep respect alive. Without boundaries, people don't become closer. They become careless. Explaining yourself endlessly keeps you trapped in other people's expectations. It turns your life into a debate. Every decision becomes something to defend. Every boundary becomes something to justify. You stop living. You start negotiating. A man with standards does not live in negotiation. He lives in alignment. Alignment means his actions match his values even when it costs him comfort, even when it costs him connection, even when it costs him approval. Standards always cost something. That's why not everyone has them. If your standards don't cost you anything, they're not standards. They're preferences. A man with standards understands that not everyone will like him, and he's at peace with that. He doesn't bend his boundaries to avoid discomfort. He doesn't explain his choices to avoid tension. He allows others to react. Reaction is not his responsibility, because he knows this. If someone only treats you well when they understand you, they don't respect you. They respect their comfort. Real respect doesn't require constant explanation. It recognizes consistency. And when someone tries to push past a boundary, a man with standards doesn't get loud. He gets clear. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't beg. He doesn't lecture. He withdraws access. That's the difference between a man with standards and a man with ego. Ego argues. Standards move quietly. Ego wants to win the conversation. Standards protect the life. This doesn't mean he lacks compassion. It means he doesn't confuse compassion with self-sacrifice. A man with standards listens. He considers feedback. He reflects. But he doesn't negotiate his core. He can hear disagreement without abandoning himself. He can sit in silence without filling it with justification, because he knows that over-explaining is a trap. When you over-explain, you invite debate. When you invite debate, you invite negotiation. When you negotiate your boundaries, you train people to push them. And the people who push boundaries never stop at one. They push again and again, until they find the version of you that caves. A man with standards does not become that version. This is why people feel his presence. Not because he dominates the room, not because he demands attention, but because he is grounded in himself. Grounded men don't perform their identity. They live it. They don't chase validation. They don't chase approval. They don't chase understanding from people who benefit from misunderstanding them. And this is where many people struggle. Because they confuse being understood with being loved. They think, if I can just explain myself better, they will finally respect me. But respect is not created by your words. It's created by what you tolerate. People read your standards through your behavior, not through your speeches. You can give the most perfect explanation in the world and still be treated poorly if you keep staying. Because the explanation is not what teaches people. Your actions do. This applies beyond relationships too. In business, in friendships, in family. A man with standards doesn't explain why he won't be disrespected at work. He stops volunteering for people who take credit. He stops accepting last-minute chaos. He stops entertaining conversations that drain him. A man with standards doesn't explain why he won't tolerate a friend who only calls when they need something. He becomes less available. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't guilt-trip them. He doesn't demand an apology. He simply stops investing where there is no reciprocity. And with family, this is even harder, because family often believes access is automatic. But a man with standards knows that blood does not excuse disrespect. He can love people without letting them control him. He can forgive without re-entering the same cycle. He can stay polite without staying exposed. And when someone challenges this, when they say, "Why are you like this? Why are you so distant? Why are you so strict?" he doesn't panic. He doesn't start listing reasons. He doesn't start defending his boundary like it's a crime. He stays calm. Because a boundary is not something you owe people an essay for. It's something you enforce. There is also a psychological reason why this matters. The man who constantly explains himself is often living in fear of being misjudged. He wants to control the narrative. He wants to manage how people see him. But you cannot control perception. You can only control integrity. A man with standards stops trying to be perfectly understood and focuses on being consistently aligned. He lets people misunderstand him if they want to, because he knows something else. People who are committed to misunderstanding, you will twist any explanation you give. They will use your words against you. They will find a loophole. They will shift the topic. And you'll end up exhausted, explaining the same boundary over and over while they keep crossing it. A man with standards refuses to live like that. He chooses peace over persuasion. He chooses simplicity over debate. He chooses alignment over approval. And yes, that will make some people uncomfortable, because a grounded man is not easy to manipulate. He's not desperate to be liked. He's not hungry for validation. He's not available for emotional games. He doesn't reward disrespect with attention. He doesn't reward confusion with explanation. He doesn't reward inconsistency with access. Over time, people learn where he stands. Not because he told them, because he showed them. They see it in what he tolerates, in what he walks away from, in what he protects. Those who align with his standards stay. Those who don't leave. No arguments, no confusion, no explanations. And that is the quiet power of a man with standards. If this message resonated with you, give this video a like, subscribe so these conversations continue, and share it with someone who still feels like they have to explain themselves to earn respect. Because the truth is simple. The right people don't need your justification. They recognize your consistency.